Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie and this is Stanley and we're here to talk about books. Today we're going to be going through a frankly epic book haul that I got recently from the local charity shops and the local station free book exchange, and we're also going to be doing my TBR picks for May. First of all though, let's make some tea. So here we are at the tea drawers, but before we can make a tea selection we need to fill them up with my new tea haul, which is black lychee, black vanilla rose, coconut oolong, which I'm quite excited by, and silver jasmine. So here we go. Beautiful full tea drawers, hurrah! So now we get to make our selection. Eight plus 11, 19, so that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So don't get to try any of the new ones this time, but that's black chocolate and raspberry, so still a very good choice. Making quite a mess today. Gonna have to do some cleaning up, definitely. Oh, there we go. Good old past me has boiled the kettle already, so we are good to go. This teapot is a little bit tricky. Aha. Yeah, not my finest tea making, let's be honest. But there we go. Black chalk and raspberry for the win. So now we've got our tea ready, let's go through some books. So on this channel I'm going to be doing a series of videos called Reviews Revisited, where I pick a book that I've reviewed sometime in the last 20 years, reread it and do a deep dive analysis of it, and then compare my reactions to when I read it originally, because I have all my reviews over the course of the last 20 years. And when I was going around the local charity shops in the town where I live, a couple of weeks ago, I actually found 4 specific books that I was looking for to be part of that project, which was kind of unbelievable. So I'm just going to go through those quickly. The first of those is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I'm sure most people will know what this is. I absolutely loved this book. It's going to be pretty far down the schedule because I actually still remember it quite well, but I saw it and I thought, why not? And I'm going to reread it because I want to, but it might take me a while to get around to it. So that's that one. I also found Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. So this is a book that I read a few years ago and I remember, a reasonable amount about it. It's the first Ann Patchett book I read and I think I liked it, but with Reviews Revisited, I've been doing that on my podcast that I co-host with my husband, and the Reviews Revisited are solo episodes I do in between our regular monthly schedule. And I have found that my memory for books and whether I liked them or not is absolutely appalling. So you never know. I've had a bit of a mixed experience with Ann Patchett since. I really enjoyed The Magician's Assistant, but I wasn't so keen on The Dutch House. So we'll see how that goes. The next one is a very good indicator of not being able to remember stuff. Because if you had asked me a few years ago if I had ever read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, I would have said no. But the spreadsheet doesn't lie. The review spreadsheet has all of the data. It knows what I've read, and apparently I did read it. I do remember the twist, but I don't remember anything else about the book. So at some point, I'm going to be rereading it, see what I think. And the last one I found was Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfeld. Again, this was the first one of hers that I read, but I have, I believe, read and enjoyed all of her other books, 13th Tale, maybe not all of them. I've read The 13th Tale and what's it called? Bellman and Black. That's the other one. Really enjoyed them. So I'm looking forward to getting back to this one because I don't really remember what it was about. So those are my review revisited hauls. I also found, just randomly wandering around the charity shops, a whole ton of other books by authors that I know and love, or that I definitely want to read more from, or other books that I think looked really good. So I'm just going to run through those. First one, Margaret Atwood, The Robber Bride. I may have read this before, but if I have, it would have been before I started the reviews, so pre-2005, and I don't remember anything about it. I've read quite a lot of Margaret Atwood. The spreadsheet has 8 Atwoods on there, most of which, when I look at, I think I have enjoyed them. So quite looking forward to adding this to the shelf. Then I've got Beautiful Creatures by Lulu Taylor. I have to admit I picked this up because it kind of reminded me of the Penny Vincenzi books that I've been devouring in the last year, which also I discovered via the charity shops and the free book exchange, and that's why I picked this up. It turns out I have actually read another Lulu Taylor. There's one called The Winter Secret that I read last year, which I liked aspects of, didn't like other aspects of, so this one might be a bit of a gamble, but we'll see. Next we have The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan. Again, I picked this up because it looked like my kind of book, and I didn't think I'd read any of hers, and discovered that I have. I've read Madame Barova, which I do remember really enjoying. This is very highly anticipated for me. It's exactly the kind of book that I'm really enjoying reading at the moment, sort of uplifting, sort of personal drama, nice found family kind of story. So really looking forward to reading that one. Going a bit more literary, I have All He Ever Wanted by Anita Shreve. Again, I've read quite a few of hers. It is more on the literary side for me, but I think she writes really good, interesting stories, layered characters, and the writing itself is really good. So I do have another of hers, A Wedding in December, on my TBR, which I haven't read yet, and it's been hanging around for a while. So maybe having this one will prompt me to get to that one sooner. Next one's another recent author that I discovered from the local station free book exchange, Susan Lewis. I picked up Losing You from the book exchange last month, and it was my favourite book of last month that I read. Absolutely loved it. Really, really good book. I was a bit apprehensive going in because I wasn't sure whether I'd like it or not. Really liked it, so I'm hoping this one will be another success. We're nearly there. Another author, the go-to author that I have enjoyed most of her books that I've read. I've read The Foundling, Mrs. England, and The Familiars by Stacey Halls, and this is the only book of hers that I haven't read, so I was delighted to see it on the charity shop shelf. So The Household, so another one that I'm keenly anticipating. Bit of a gamble, the next one, Sarah Waters, The Paying Guest. I do like her books. She never has very many likeable characters, and they're always a bit grim, so it's a bit of a hit and miss with me. I very much DNF to The Little Stranger, not because it was bad, it wasn't. It was a bit too good, and it really freaked me out. Really, really creepy. I'm not a horror person. I do not like being scared, and that one really hit the buttons for me on not wanting to read it. But I have read and enjoyed some of her other ones. I do remember Fingersmith in particular. The first time I read it, I didn't like it at all. So why I went back to it, I've no idea. But I read it again more recently and really enjoyed it. So I think this one's going to be, depends on the tone, depends on the level of horrorness, and possibly depends on what kind of mood I'm in. So we'll see with that one. And the last one is a new author for me, Monica McInerney. I picked up The Godmothers. So again, I had a look at it and it sounded like exactly my kind of thing. Family drama, secrets being revealed from the past, family stuff. I don't know. It sounded really good. So I thought I'd give this one a try. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So that's all my book haul. Quite a large selection, all from one day's outing around the charity shop. So very successful, I think, or I hope. And so now let's get into May's TBR picks. So we need to go to the book flaps. Okay, so here we are at the book flaps. Stanley's got the TBR jar ready. So excited about this. I made a TBR jar and it's got prompts and everything. Anyway, before we do that though, we've got to put the stack of books from the book haul onto the TBR shelves. there's quite a lot of room under there at the moment because I went to a reading retreat recently and also have removed the books that I've read in April. So I've actually got some space. And so we're going to put the books on the shelves so that they can be added into the selection for the prompts. Okay, just about managed to fit them on there, but you know, we do what we can. So I've also got my TBR data ready because some of the prompts will identify a specific book and some of the prompts will give me a bit of a choice. So I've created a spreadsheet, gotta love a spreadsheet, with all of my TBR books, which do include audiobooks as well, so that's a possibility, and the various data that I need to make my decisions. But here we go. Before we get to the jar, I am doing the Magical Readathon, which is organised by G from Book Roast, and I will put a link to that down in the description box, which is so much fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. We just had the April spring equinox, which had a lot of prompts, extra prompts to inform my reading choices. So that'll be discussed in more detail in the April wrap-up coming soon. But there's also a monthly prompt, which is connected to a really cool board game. So you follow a route on a map and you get a prompt each month. Sorry, my laptop is being very annoying. Apparently my PIN is required to log in. 1 second. So let's see what the prompt for May is going to be. So I crossed the river in April. So I have a choice. I can either go to a maze or I can go in search of the rare sun dancer. So I'm not a fan of mazes, not very good sense of direction, not my strong point. So I don't think I want to go into a maze. So let's look for the rare sun dancer. So that means that I need to find a book with a protagonist who is a dancer or where dancing is important to the story. So actually, I think that's going to solve a book flap's problem because I'm going to have this one. I don't actually know whether that is actually the case, but there are 3 ballerinas on the cover of The Godmothers by Monica McInerney, and I am very keen to read this book, so I'm going to say that that's fine, and I'm going to have this one. So that's my first pick for the Magical Readathon prompt for May. Okay, so now we have my little robot jar. He's all ready to go. Very exciting. I'm going to have to pull his head off, but you know, I'm sure he'll cope. So Stanley's going to look after that. Right. Let's see. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on my reading, and I know starting a booktube channel probably not the best plan for mood reading and not putting pressure on my reading. So I'm going to pull 4 prompts and then see where I am. So that will give me 5 books to read in May, which should be eminently doable. And then I may pull more prompts or just mood read if I finish them all. We'll see. But for now, okay, it's an orange one. Okay, person or job in the title. Now, it has reminded me that I can include audiobooks, my audiobook library and wish list. And also, if I don't have one on the TBR that fits the prompt, that's not going to be a problem for this one. I can go to the library, of course, always have to remind myself, library is available to me, and potentially check the charity shops or buy some secondhand. But person or job in the title is not going to be a difficult one. I think I know what I'm going to do for this one. I think it's on this shelf because it's historical. Or is it not on this shelf? No, it's not. It's on this shelf. I'm going to go with The Royal Correspondent by Alexandra Joel, which was another charity shop pick. I think this one sounds really cool. It's about a young female journalist who gets involved in reporting on Princess Margaret's controversial marriage in the 60s. So I think that one sounds fun. So that's what we're going to do for that. pick number 2. This is just as much fun as I thought it was going to be. So, A to F, author surname. That's an interesting one. I am going to have to check my spreadsheet for this one. So A to F, what is jumping out at me? Okay, I think I'm going to go with William Boyd. I've had a couple of his books on my shelf for a long time. I've read some of his before and really enjoyed them. Read others, not had such great time. And these books have been on this shelf for a long time, so I'm gonna challenge myself to get rid of one of them. And I'm gonna go with, I think Trio sounds like it would be a bit similar to the Royal Correspondence, so I'm going to go with The Blue Afternoon by William Boyd, which is set in 1936. It's about an architect, an enigmatic stranger who claims to be her father, looking into their past. So it sounds like quite an intriguing one. It's also quite short, so that'll be good for keeping the pressure off. So that's that one. Number 3. Oh, I've had different colours every time. That's good. Not that the colours mean anything, but still. Colour wheel for the colour of the cover. Interesting. Okay. Just had one of those for the Magical Readathon and it was yellow. So hopefully we'll get a different one. So I have a colour wheel set up. Let's spin it and see what happens. It says white. I do have the Trudy Canavan. Do I really want to get into a big chunky fantasy series right now? No, I know what I want to read. A Penny Vincenzi. Yes. Okay. This will be my 8th or 9th Penny Vincenzi in the last year. So this is about Tom and Octavia Fleming, perfect power marriage, attractive, rich, successful. Yeah, it sounds like a Penny Vincenzi book. Okay. Yep. Lots of drama. Yep. Happy with that. Okay. Final pick for May. See if I can get different colour again. Let's go yellow. Oh, romance. Okay. Romance. Not often a go-to for me. I don't tend to enjoy the popular contemporary romances that are out there at the moment, but I do have books that involve romance. They're maybe not specifically romance books, but I have got a section which involves whether they've got romance in them. So let's have a look. I've got one of my other book haul books listed as romance. Now, I don't know how accurate this is. I went by the categories listed on Goodreads, so that may not be a good way to identify these things. But because I really, really want to read it, where did I put it? Because I really want to read it, I'm gonna go with what the spreadsheet says, and I'm gonna pick The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan, because this is probably my most anticipated book on my TBR. So I'm going to go with that. Happy, very happy. Oh, this was so much fun. Okay, so that's the books are on the shelves, and I've obviously taken some books off the shelves, and we have got our May TBR. So there we go. First ever use of the TBR jar. I think it went pretty well. I'm very excited about the books that I have selected. And here we have our pile of books for May. So as I said, we're going to be doing Reviews Revisited in mid-May, probably coming up, and also an April wrap-up towards the start of May, which will be all about the Magical Readathon Spring Equinox. So I'm looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I hope you're all having a good day, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye for now.